Alrighty, everybody, welcome in. My name is Joe, and today we're gonna play some chess. All right, let's see here. Let's stick with our night opening, the Reti opening. Let's just stick with that and see how it goes. It's been kind of fun to play. It always ends up in crazy games. The full Reti would be to push the c4 pawn. I'm just gonna go ahead and get ready for my fianchetto. I find that this is what I enjoy. It's kind of like a King's Indian attack. All right, so I'm assuming my opponent's gonna do, not really. There's really no threat here at this point in time. I think I'm just gonna continue castling. Go for a real standard King's Indian setup. All right, sorry, just making some quick decisions here because I want to kind of keep the pace of the game up. I want to make sure that I don't fall into the same traps I've been falling into where I end up. No, my opponent has that covered sufficiently. We could support it. Let's start with the rook. So whenever you fianchetto, you want to give yourself a little bit of option that if you have to retreat, you can retreat. I call it just clearing the squares behind the fianchetto. All right. Just looking at some options here. I really don't have any major tactics yet, so I probably should just develop. And developing probably is going to look like getting the knight up. Let's try it. Let's go for it. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna throw that c4 pawn up there, and we're gonna see if we can bust open some of this center. I'm castled. My opponent isn't. So if we can start busting open the center a little bit, maybe we can take advantage of that. So just using a generic theme of you know, when the opponent's king is still in the center of the board, go ahead and start punching holes. That might be too aggressive without some support. So can we get some support into the center of the board? Yes, we can by developing. How do we want to develop this knight? Let's start by taking. I'm assuming my opponent's going to take with the, well, he pushed the pawn, so maybe he takes with the pawn. So now we get the other knight developed, helping to control some of the center squares. And now the question is, do we have enough to control this central pawn attack? And I don't know that we do. Another possibility, and you see this in some different lines of different openings, I could offer a queen trade early. I don't know that I'm ready for that yet. I'm wondering what happens if I stick my bishop here. I need to develop my bishop anyway, so we can develop, but I drop here. I didn't mean to do that. I was just gonna say, you don't want to develop your bishop while the queen is staring you down. I forget, is the queen trapped at all? No. No, the queen has too many squares to retreat to. I was just literally saying you don't want to do this because of the dangers of the position. The knight is not defended. Well, we oopsied. We oopsied. I was trying to say, whenever you have the opponent's queen here, you have to watch this pawn, and so you don't want to develop this bishop. And then in my dumb brain, I started thinking, well, that bishop there, you know, we need to develop that bishop. We can develop it with tempo, which is... And then I just completely forgot that I legitimately had just talked about this particular setup. So now... now what? If we start here, everything is defended. We chase the queen away for a second. We're looking at this, but it doesn't really do anything just yet. Chase the queen away, and then we can start moving our pieces around again. But we had to kind of respond to that threat of my opponent's infiltration. See, this knight is still a danger zone. This knight, something needs to happen with this knight. The question is what? And I think this... It drops another pawn, but it picks up a whole bishop. So maybe we squeeze something out here. Maybe. We're keeping an eye on tactics, right? This position has unfolded into a mess, and so now we're just looking for tactics, and that's what we do. We studied our puzzles, we practiced our puzzles. Now this comes with check. If my opponent comes this way, then we have another fork. He's probably going to come this way to attack, or this way to attack, in which case we're just going to go ahead and pick up here. I'm debating, no, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to pick up here. Get rid of that bishop at the same time. And now we have access to this pawn. So just looking at tactics, right? Playing our puzzles and stacking ideas on top of ideas. Just looking for ways to infiltrate. This is another check, which opens up this. I'm assuming my opponent's just going to grab. Everything else is defended, right? We're not dropping anything else. Everything else is defended. Now our bishops are online. This knight is a bit frustrating because it is covering a lot of the center of the board. I think my bishop is going to be more annoying to my opponent, though, than anything. Maybe I just push and defend it, centralize it. I mean, for starters, this is going to come with check. And that's probably where we're going to start. But I need to be looking at what my opponent could do as well, right? What are my opponent's moves? You know, something like this could come. No, that's defended. Yeah, good on my opponent, looking to bust open, right? Always a good idea. But I'm going to go ahead and continue my plan of start here with check. If I need to retreat, I can. I'm just looking for more tactics to see if there's anything out there that I could do. Just keeping an eye out for tactics. Let's just go with the central pawn. I'm assuming my opponent's going to grab here, and then we'll grab back with our other pawn. Actually, if my opponent grabs here, I'll probably grab with the bishop, to be honest with you. Why not, right? Man, this is where things get a little shaky. I'm just not certain of the best move order. I just don't know. I don't know if it was better to keep that bishop up there or not. Thinking bring the rook down. I'd like to trade queens, I think. But I gotta be real careful on how I do it. I mean, we could just keep simplifying, right? What's wrong with just simplifying? I'd hate to give that up, but you know what? Maybe that's the best move, is just to simplify. And once again, I'm in the unenviable position of being down on time. I would really like to simplify, but I just can't figure out how to do that. See, I don't want to do... Everything is defended here, so I'm okay. All right, let's just see if we can force a queen trade. I'm gonna pre-move in case. All right. What do we want to do from here? What's the threat now? I'm not certain here, guys, but I'm running out of time, so I need to act faster. Oh, I just gave up another pawn. Not something we wanted to do. Can't do that because we give up the rook. But we can do this to start the show off. No, we can't. Man, oh 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 man. What do I want to do? God, I can't trade that because that defends that. I hate this. I really, truly do. I can't do that. I just said I can't do that because I drop a whole rook. I'm doing the thing. I'm doing the thing. I'm doing literally what I said to don't do. I'm doing literally what I said you're not supposed to do, and I'm doing it. I am so dumb sometimes. I've just thrown this whole game because I said don't do what I'm about to do. cannot believe I just did that. I cannot believe I did that, y'all. I just threw away a whole rook. This is me frustrated because twice in this game, I saw the threat. As I was going through my process, I saw the threat, and then I looked past the threat, forgot about the threat, and then moved on and made a move, knowing that I'd already noticed the threat. So twice in this game now, and so I'm going to lose this game because twice I saw the threat, identified it, and then forgot about it. And it's just very frustrating to me. It's little things like that that get me so frustrated. I really enjoy playing these games. I really enjoy this position. I enjoy the adrenaline. I just get so mad at myself because of the way that I play these games sometimes. Because I make silly mistakes like that. Now my opponent here probably has a forced draw. That's an interesting move that I was not expecting. Of all the moves one could make. I just want to reposition my... I want to reposition my queen to get it back in the game. You know, I'd like to get pressure here if I could. The opponent can't go down, has to go up the board. But now the problem is I don't really have a win in this position. I might just go for a draw at this point in time. That might be the best thing, is just to go for a draw. I could pick up here, but I think that might give my opponent too much time. I don't know if there's some kind of sacrifice they can make. I don't know. That comes with check. That comes with check. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. Ah, and I gave up the bishop in the process. I gave up the bishop in the process. All right, well, here we go. Now I got to see if I can win with two connected passed pawns. With limited time. I don't know how to do this. That comes with check. But it's an edge pawn, an outside. It's an H pawn, an outside pawn, and that becomes a forced draw. So at least we worked ourselves back into a draw. If I go here with check, he comes this way. I might be able to squeeze this one out, but I don't think so. He goes here. Yeah, this is a draw. So GG to my opponent. We got a draw out of it. So we both dropped. All right, that was a fun game. It was crazy. I get so mad at myself on stuff like this just because, like I said, I identified the threats and then I still went past it. So, all right, let's take a quick look at this. The two main pieces, right? Let's take a look at the two main pieces. Where the queen came, and I literally, we talked about this in the game, but this is the danger whenever you have the queen come out, right? They're obviously looking to threaten here, and this is what is a standard response. Just develop, offer a queen trade. It becomes kind of a standoff. My opponent is most likely going to continue developing. I'm going to continue developing, and then we trade, and both of our rooks are defended. So these open outside files don't become too much of a threat. That's kind of a theme that we see in different openings. In fact, if I turn on the engine, back up one move. Wow, whoa. +5 to white here at this point in time for some strange reason. Let's follow along. E4. Right, everything's defended. So what happens if you grab? Boom. Yeah, I mean, it's just all just a mess. And at the end of it, black is down a piece. So yeah, at this point in time, 1, 2, 3 attackers. My opponent has 1, 2, 3 defenders. So why? Right. 3 and 3. Right, 3 and 3 they can't take. Right, 3 and 3 he can't take. Excuse me. You have to have more attacker or more defender. Yeah, more attackers than defenders. So 3 on 3, 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3. My opponent is not going to want to trade all 3 of these for these 3. So trading once and then moving the bishop. And then at the end of the line, the bishop hangs. Okay. Wow. I did not put that together at all. Okay. I was going to say just continue developing, right? Yeah, see, that's more of an evenish position. Well, even this, it says, wow, white still has a massive advantage at this point in time. Well, I made the correct move. I made the correct move from here. So we got out of it. Man, we found some good, look, we found some good moves. I'm just so mad at myself. Yeah, this turned out to be great. I'm real happy how this turned out. I mean, look at this massive advantage. So the engine wants me to go ahead and grab with check, even though that gives up the knight. The engine wants me to checkmate in 16 with another sacrifice. Sacrificing 2 full pieces to open up this checkmate. Whoops, too fast. Wow. Wait, what happens if you just block with this? Oh, because everything's, you can't block with the queen, so the king has to go back. And then I guess it just becomes a king hunt. Wow. Well, I'll be darned. Okay. Would never have guessed a double piece sacrifice. So I decided to go with knight captures, and knight captures is, phooey. Yeah, I should have gone after the rook instead. This captures, but I decided, you know what, just make the trade. And then, yeah, I should have grabbed there. Oh well. Still a huge advantage for white, though. Massive, massive advantage for white. And I just was not able to convert. Checkmate in 2. I missed checkmate in 2. Okay, so I debated on this move here, but I didn't see any follow-up. Oh, because the bishop pair. Oh, the bishop pair so strong. This is a mating pattern, right? The queen comes in and the two shoulders are blocked. I think it's called the epaulets checkmate. So the two shoulders are blocked. Checkmate pattern. And I have the bishop pair. Bishop pair so strong, cutting everything off. I can't believe I missed checkmate in 2. And instead I decided to go for this. Even at this point in time, this seems like a good move here, no? Oh, right, because we looked at that because the queen now blocks. Yep, and in my hurry to attack the queen, I gave up another pawn, and I shouldn't have. That was just a dumb mistake. I cannot believe I missed checkmate in 2. And then ended up dropping a whole rook. See, I saw that, like we talked about this in the game, is that this is now an undefended piece. So anything that that this queen does, this queen has to stay around to defend this rook. And I immediately threw the game. So frustrating. I did have a little turtle, you know, a little fortress that kind of kept my king safe there at the end. I don't know what my opponent's goal here was this. I don't know what their threat. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain what their goal there was. So, but it gave me a move, and I tried to get back into the game. And we got it back to an even, so I could have forced the draw here, right? I could have basically just repeated moves. My opponent looked like they were willing to repeat moves. I could have repeated moves. We gained a little bit of an advantage, and yeah, sure enough, the engine says go for the pawn, and we did. Go for the pawn with check. So the point here I was debating is if I go here, my opponent's going to have to move, and then I've got the bishop, but I don't have the bishop, and that's what I failed to notice is that in my haste, I just missed that was covered twice. So I tried to get cute, and yep, you can see evaluation again, swings back the other way. But we do have the two connected passed pawns, and they were able to do work. At least get us into a position. You can see, unfortunately, my opponent didn't quite have the correct pattern and put themselves in a position to get forked. And there's just no win for white here because it's an H-pawn. If it was anything other than an H-pawn, maybe. There's just no, it's just a draw at this point in time. These two outside passed pawns, they're great because they force the king to chase them down, right? The king has to go a long way to chase them down. And if you have pawns on both sides of the board, the king just isn't fast enough to chase them all down. But if the king is fast enough, then it's a draw because my king behind this passed pawn, this opponent's king is going to tuck in here and it's going to end up in a stalemate. So if I move up, they move up. Notice I want to get my pawn forward, but I can't get here, so I have to go this way. They can't approach, and they can't approach, so they have to go this way. But now we're in a stalemate position. If I move my king, I can't move my king forward, but if I block off this square, this square, this square, right, it becomes a stalemate. So if I try to push, stalemate, the king can't come this way, and the king can't come this way. But if it was a different pawn, let me switch over here to, where's the board editor? If let's back up from here, and let's say the king is here, the pawn is here, the king is here somewhere. If we shift everything over 1, and it becomes here, what was it, like this, I think? Yeah. So now analyze from here. We are flipped board. Now it can be a win. Now it's not black to move, white to move. Hang on, back up. White to play. Yeah, white to play. Go. Not black to play, white to play. What is going on? Okay, board editor. Black to play. Now analysis. Fine. Okay, so yeah, so you can see now from this position, now that everything, if the king moves over, I can get here in time, and now because there's an extra column on the outside, that's the difference. The exact same thing happens. The king tries to get in front of the pawn. We blockade, he gets up here in front. Now we push. On the H pawn, this is a stalemate, but on when it's a central pawn, any one of these non-edge pawns, non-wing pawns, the king has that move, and now you can slide up here. Your king is covering all 3 of these squares. The magic red carpet to promote your pawn. The king has legal squares, and now we've got a queen, and now the game's over. Queen versus no queen is usually a good thing. But because in our game, this was the only difference, you'll notice this was an H pawn, and the king was behind the H pawn. Those don't promote, because there's no, you need the black or the opponent to have a square that they can jump to. And in this case, you have to have this outside, you have to have a column on the other side for the king to jump out that way. Because they can't jump out this way, and they can't go that way. So, all right, well, let's go back to, well, let me go back to the game from here. No. Yeah, it will. No, it won't. Okay. Oh, well. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for watching the game. I appreciate you sticking with me, even through my dumb mistakes. Like, it just gets so frustrating. I'm glad we were able to pull that one out for a draw. I'm glad we were able to at least keep some momentum going. We made 2 key mistakes in that game, 2 crucial mistakes in that game. One of them, the engine says wasn't so bad, but mentally it was bad because I mentally made the decision not to give up that pawn, and I gave it up anyway by moving my bishop. I wonder if this will let me just go games, rapid. That was a rapid game. View recent games, most recent rapid game, and then a draw. So when the queen came out, remember, before, on the non-castling side, the only thing defending that B pawn is your bishop. So whenever that queen comes out, we don't want to do it. And over the board, we I thought about that, and then I ended up dropping that pawn anyway. And then the next thing, the rook move. This rook move is bad only because I didn't even think about giving up that pawn. I don't consider it a bad move by itself. There are better moves I could have played. Even if I'd come all the way over here, give up this pawn to trade off rooks and pick up a pawn here on the outside, that would have been a better move. So it's not a horrible move, but it's not a great move. The egregious one is this play. Knowing that I said I can't do that because my rook is under attack. Knowing that in my mind I said I can't, I made that choice, and then I just brain farted 3 seconds later and did it anyway. So poopers on me. That was a really dumb mistake, but it ended up all right. A draw is a draw. We both got out of there alive, so thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you guys. I enjoy this. I'm probably not going to play another one today. After a game like this where I do something dumb, I'm not in the right mindset. So I'll probably try tomorrow, and maybe we'll upload a couple more games tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.